Well, and I think, you know, after you left the classroom, um, I'll put it that way because you actually listened to us and took advantage when we said you guys can come back and hang out here whenever you want, and you did.
I moved in.
You did, and I think that that was great. That people don't always take us up on that. Maybe they will now because they've heard that we mean it when we say it.
Yes.
But it was so refreshing for us to kind of see and continue to check in with you and continue to help. As you just were around and could take advantage of those things. Can you talk a little bit about that time, like right after Learn, and how you're feeling and starting on that job hunt?
Yeah, so it was kind of sad in the way that it's sad like a couple days after Christmas and the holidays are over and you're like going back to the real world and you're not sure like is this the end or like after any graduation I guess like am I gonna see these people again, am I gonna continue with this? And people would say like, oh, so how's the job hunt, are you what are you doing now? And because I already had a job and I was still working, I didn't feel quite as much pressure to go out and look for something. And so it would be kind of hard to respond to those questions. And then I'd get, well, if you weren't going to go out and actually look for a job and keep this going, why did you even do this? Yeah. And so I felt a little lost. And I think that's why I made my way back into the physical classroom, because I needed to keep that actual tangible connection to feel a little more stable in my transition. And just working on personal projects and having the teachers there. I didn't want to take away from the next class, but if everyone was working on something, no one needed the teacher, I'd kind of sidle up to Matt and be like, hey buddy, I have a question. Can you help me with this thing? Yeah. And just having everyone's continued support and, Matt still answering questions and not feeling like, you're not in class anymore, get out. Like, right. That's not how Learn is at all. We really are a family, and that really helped ease the transition out of the program.
Yeah, I do think there's something that happens when the class ends that is a bit of a shock, I think, for students, that all of a sudden you're now on your own, right? Like now you are now on this, you're not actually on your own because we're there for you.
Of course.
But you are now the one making the choices to like, what does the job hunt look like? What are the things you're going after and things like that. So it is a bit of a shocking shift, mm-hmm. right? That you don't have Matt standing up there and saying, hey, this is what you're going to do today.
Yeah, you lose that built-in structure.
Mm-hmm. And so you almost have to create that on your own. And I thought that you did such a great job of recognizing that maybe it wasn't happening and like fixing it by coming in and just like putting yourself physically back into that space. And I think that's a really helpful tip, I guess, for anyone that finds themselves kind of lost after the program ends.
Yeah.
And so tell me a little bit more about like what you worked with. You worked on some personal projects and you could sneak in some time with instructors, which is great. What other kind of support did you see or did you find when you finished?
So I did want to keep learning because I felt like that was important. I didn't want to just sort of like, okay, have this knowledge that I learned at Learn in a neat little package, and I didn't want to be content with that. Mm-hmm. But I think I had a hard time figuring out where to go next, how to keep learning. Like I started doing that branch out thing again. I was like, oh, it would be cool to learn C++. And, and then I kind of snapped back to reality and was like, no, keep learning up, keep honing the skills that you have now to get to the next level. And of course you can still learn other languages and stuff on the side, that's fine. But, you're not an expert at Ruby right now, so
right.
Keep getting there. And so I started to, through my personal projects, force myself to say, okay, this feature, I don't know how to add this, how to do this, but that's something I can learn. So start looking at Udemy courses, at YouTube videos, at things to build that. And so that was a helpful realization, mm-hmm. and to know I can still still learn with a certain structure, even if I'm not in the program that someone else has structured for me.
Yeah. So going deeper and not wider.
Right.
Right? Like trying to become the expert